Do you want to learn how to get multiple American Express cards with only one hard inquiry? In today's masterclass, I'm going to be showing you not only how I was able to get multiple American Express cards with one hard inquiry, but how I was able to grow my limits over time. If you are interested in joining American Express on the personal side or the business side, make sure to watch this entire masterclass because I'm going to be covering some major game that you do not want to miss. Let's get started. Thanks so much for joining me. My name is Credit Coach Nicole Scott, and in today's video, we're going to be covering some major game about American Express. Now, I shared with you briefly before how I was able to get so many American Express cards, and I'm literally just getting started. But you don't want to apply for too many cards too quickly. So we're going to cover all of these tips and tricks, hacks, things that you want to do and that you don't want to do with American Express, because one thing that you don't want to do is ruin your relationship with American Express. Similar to like how I say with Navy Federal, it's all about relationships. Well, you need to take that same concept with all of these other banks as well, like American Express. They are a big relationship bank as well. They are very powerful. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you just how powerful American Express is and what type of status you're going to get as an American Express card holder. People really look at you different when you whip out that American Express gold or platinum card. They're like, oh, wow, this is fancy, you know? So it's literally a game changer, not to mention if you are a big traveler or if you spend money on ads. These are two great cards on the business side that can heavily reward you in regards to American Express points. They're always having different types of deals, and I'm going to be giving you guys some major games, so literally watch this entire video. So let's go ahead and get started on the American Express hidden gems. Like, this is literally a game changer. If I had someone to give me this information when I first started, I think I would have done things a bit differently. But I'm just going to share with you why I love American Express so much, because they literally gave me multiple credit cards on my business side as a brand new business. Okay. And I applied for American Express when I was probably only about 6 months of age with my business, and I was declined. You can always come back and apply with them at a later date. So that's exactly what I did. As soon as my business was around 2 years old, I went back to them and I applied for multiple cards through the app. I got one hard inquiry and I was literally approved for 4 different cards with one hard inquiry. And the only reason why I didn't get approved for the last one without a hard inquiry is because I had to call in. And by the time I called in to verify myself, this was a few days later. I was speaking with a phone rep and I said, you know what? I want to go ahead and I want to apply for one more card, and that's going to be the gold card. So when I applied for my 5th card with them, I actually got another hard inquiry, but it's on my business, and honestly, I can easily get those inquiries deleted from my personal credit. They're actually no longer even on there, so it's really no big deal to me. Honestly, I don't really care how many inquiries I get as long as I get approved. And I know you guys have probably heard inquiries are bad. Inquiries are bad. Yeah, they're bad if you have a bunch of inquiries and you don't have accounts with those people, but you can actually have a few inquiries and it not account against you. As long as you have accounts with those people and you're doing it over time, inquiries are really only super relative for the first 12 months anyways. They're only going to report on your credit for 25 months. That's of course, unless you dispute them to get them off earlier, which, you can always do. But long story short, I was able to get 5 American Express cards, 4 with one inquiry. My last one, which was the AMEX Gold card, which was my ultimate goal, because if you are a business owner, this card is amazing because you get up to 4 times the points on any 2 categories that you use the most. So if you run ads, it's literally the best card for you. So That's why I highly recommend it to anybody out there that runs any sort of ads, whether it's Facebook ads, Instagram, YouTube ads, any type of ads. That card is amazing for. You can get points on the 2 categories that you spend the most at, and you can literally head over to their website and you can see the different categories that they have. But I love it. They also have some really good introduction rates. You can add authorized users to it on the business side. They don't report on the personal side. The business credit cards only report onto your business side. They're not going to report to Dun & Bradstreet. I have not seen them report onto Experian. They are on SBFE, so that's where they're going to be at. And unfortunately, we can't pull our SBFE file, right? But I love American Express because they're all about helping small business owners. So even if you don't have a perfect 700 credit score, I've seen people and small business owners, to be exact, that had a 680 credit score that got approved. Now, in this day and age, it's 2023. We're in, July of 2023 at the time of this recording. So you definitely want to strive for a 700 credit score when you apply with American Express. And you would really want your business to be at least 2 years old. In fact, most banks, and I talk to a lot of different people that work at financial institutions and banking institutions. In fact, one of my longtime friends, I'm trying to get her on to my podcast. She works at a major bank that has done, just so much in SBA loans in just the last year, literally changing small business owners' lives here right in the Bay Area. And I wanted to get her to talk about that with you guys because it's literally changing lives here in the Bay Area in California. And I love American Express because they support small business owners. If you've been in business for 2 years, meaning like you don't necessarily have to have been making profits for 2 years, but as long as you have been open, your business has been established for 2 years. So if you opened your business and you put it on ice, like you didn't really do anything with it, that's okay. As long as your business has been established and it has that age on it, American Express is very welcoming. They do not ask for a whole lot of documentation. Sometimes they do, but that's why you want to just kind of provide them with, your estimated revenue, because when the rep speaks to you on the phone, they're going to be asking you, what is your estimated income going to be for the business, right? And your projected income might not always match, right? But it's projected. So we want to give realistic numbers based on your business. And of course, the higher that number is, the higher limits that you will get approved for. So you don't want to lie, but also you want to be, maybe give it a little extra cushion and be reasonable, right? I also love American Express because, like I said, they're not really asking for too many documents. In fact, it is going to be a personal guarantee on the personal side. They pull from Experian. I recommend having at least a 700 credit score with Experian. They're only going to pull from Experian, so that's great. I have not seen them pull from any other bureaus. They might look at, some other credit agencies here and there, and they might ask for additional documentation here and there. But for the most part, it's a pretty simple process. You can literally just download the American Express app on your phone and apply. Once you get approved, just keep on applying, because once they hit you with that one hard inquiry on Experian and you start getting approved, just continue to apply for cards through the app, and they will use that same hard inquiry until they finally say, no, you need to call in and verify that we're actually talking to you, because we want to make sure that, no one's applying for cards under your behalf and it's not fraud or anything. I've seen people get approved 4 cards, 5 cards. Like I said, I did get approved for all 5 at the same time, and you can have up to 14 different cards, because some of their cards are charge cards, meaning they're similar to a net 30. You would want to pay back the full amount that you spent, or you would be paying a high interest. Now, American Express has the pay over time feature where they'll allow you to pay over time, but the interest rates are horrible, okay? Their cash card sometimes has a 0% APR for 12 months. So if you can get that, that's great. But the gold card and a lot of these platinum cards, a lot of their cards are not going to have a 0% APR. So if you do pay over time, it's going to be a high interest. I don't necessarily recommend that, but we'll get into that. There's no preset spending limit. So, you do have different buying power as you progress, and you can literally grow your limits over time. So that's why I really love American Express. So if you spend a lot and you pay in cash, put that spend on your card and get credit for that, because you can literally build a relationship with American Express, get points, get rewarded. There's so many different features that are great, not to mention the fraud protection, travel, all that great stuff we're going to get into. So I can't say enough about American Express. They took a chance on me when I was a fairly new business. I was able to leverage their cards to do so many different things. Run ads. I literally put all of my bills for my business, software, everything onto these cards, and I literally just keep on earning. So it's great. So let's get into why you should choose American Express. Now, I had one card on the personal side, and then I have 5 on the business side. So one of the tickets for me was getting into Navy Federal's American Express card. That helped me. And in fact, you'll notice that on my cards, it says that I have been a member since 2021. Now, when I applied for these, I had already had, it was probably 2022 that I applied for all of my cards, because I remember sitting at the gas station. I have a rental car business, so I was waiting for one of my guests to pick up the rental car from the airport, and I said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to apply for some of these cards. And I did it right there, and it was like Merry Christmas to me. So it was right around Christmas time, and this was definitely not 2021 that I applied for them. So I think it was 2022. But come to find out, they have my membership as of date when I actually got this card with Navy Federal. So I also have the American Express card with Navy Federal. And I know, some people out there have, mixed opinions about, whatever, but this is actually facts. So I got my Navy Federal American Express card in 2021. Actually, yeah, was it 2021. So I got this in 2021. So to make a long story short, the card that I got with Navy Federal actually got me into the American Express database. So when I did get my American Express business cards, I had already been a member since 2021 when I got my original card through American Express with Navy Federal. So that's why I love Navy Federal. I think you should get Navy Federal. Navy Federal. I obviously love Navy Federal too, but I also think you should get American Express, because American Express does support small businesses, and you don't need to have, exceptionally high credit. I recommend, like I said, 680 at the lowest. If you have had any success with getting approved lower than a 680, make sure to leave that in the comments below, because it's always good to compare other people's experiences. I'm just going off my own experience, and I will kind of go over this as well. When I did apply for my American Express cards, initially I was declined. My credit score was, I think, a 694. Experian has always been my problem child as far as the credit reports go. But when I got approved, my credit was like a 710 with Experian. So, and I had one medical collection that was on my credit profile. So I only had one collection. It was medical. It was over $500. So I still applied. I took that chance, and guess what? I got approved. So I didn't have many inquiries on Experian when they pulled it. I think I had less than 5 at that time. Like I said, my credit score was about a 710, And that is the exact profile that helped me get approved for 5 business credit cards with American Express. Most of my cards that I got are really great cards. So I got the gold card, I got the green card, I got the, this is the business plus card, and it actually looks the same as this business cash card. So you don't want to get the two confused because they're very, very similar. Like I literally got them mixed up when I first got them because they look the exact same and they're actually different. This is the business cash card and this is the business plus card. So they are 2 different cards. And then I also got the plum card here. I really like this card because it's kind of like a net 60 and there is a pay over time option. So we're going to be covering a lot of these cards and more in today's masterclass. So if you're a small business owner or if you want to just get some elite credit cards with a grade A bank and be able to reward off pretty much anything in your life, American Express is the way to go, especially if you travel. Oh, their 𝓕𝓐𝓏 lounges are just amazing. So you may have passed them in the airport, these really fancy 𝓕𝓐𝓏 lounges. And if you are an American Express member, you get to have full access to them with everything for free. Drinks, food, lounge, whatever they have available, it is available to their platinum members. So you do have to be a platinum card holder either on the personal side or the business side. There is an annual fee with that card, but they also allow access with some other cards, and we're going to go over those cards later on in this video. So if you have not by now, my friends, please make sure that you smash that like button, leave me a comment, let me know your experience that you've had with American Express, whether it's on the personal side or the business side, if you've approved, if you got approved right away, or if you got denied first and had to work on some things and then went back. What did your credit report look like? I forgot to add in earlier, I had about 10 trade lines, 10 to 15 trade lines that were open, active. Credit utilization was under 10%. I only had a balance on a few different cards. And my profile was pretty optimal other than that one medical collection was just something I could not deal with at that time. So, you know, it is what it is. You know, just because people say, oh, medical collections are illegal to report. No, they're not illegal to report. They're not illegal to collect on. But there are some things that are illegal. So that's a whole nother topic. But if it's valid and they haven't shared the data, then you owe the debt and they can collect on it. So like I said, another topic. Let's talk about some of the credit cards that American Express has. They are usually very high interest rate. Some of the business side or personal side might have some sort of introductory offer, but let me tell you guys a quick hack. So if you are interested in getting American Express, I highly recommend that you invest in what's called a VPN. And a VPN, I use, what is this? VPN or Express VPN. That's who I use. And you want to use a VPN that's in a more predominantly rich area where the average income is fairly high. Beverly Hills, California, perfect example. Or, you know, if you're in Atlanta, you want to find a predominantly, you know, higher income area to sign in. San Francisco, you know, those are all great areas. Dallas, Texas, just try to find areas that are, you know, a higher income, and you know, you want to use that when you visit the American Express website. So make sure that you've cleared all your cookies and your cache in your web browser, log into the VPN, and then you will see offers that are available to you. Now, this is going to be great because what you're going to do is you're going to go and you're going to click around on their website and you're going to leave. And you're going to come, you're maybe just leave the screen, right? And then come back and refresh. and see if you have any additional offers, because let me tell you something. American Express will offer, like, dangle carrots in front of your face with these member reward points, MR points, membership reward points. And that is a great way to increase your sign-on bonus with them, because if you go and you poke around and you see one sign-on bonus, but maybe you leave their page for a while and go look at another credit card or do something for a while, they might say, hey, are you still there? By the way, now we can offer you an even better sign-on bonus with more MR reward points, so come on and apply. That is a great way to go ahead and apply it. You can also chat with their representative right there on their website and see if you can get a better sign-on bonus. If you're doing it from your phone, you can try to do the same thing. Just make sure that you're logged into a VPN. The app is kind of different. I recommend people use the app, still use a VPN on their phone if you're going to be applying for multiple cards at the same time. But you can kind of plan it all out, and you can either do it on the website or on the app, but you just want to make sure that you try to get the best sign-on, system or bonus system, best sign-on bonus that they can offer you. And definitely try to go after the business cash card, because usually that one is going to offer some sort of 0% introduction for 12 months or so. I actually got that with that card. So, but you try not to carry a balance with them, even though some of their credit cards will, okay, so this is how it works. Credit cards are revolving, right? You can pay them over time. They're going to usually have some sort of, sometimes there's no credit limit, but there's a preset spending limit. So when you check your buying power, you can see, okay, you would be approved for up to like 50,000, right? But your pay over time limit is only X amount of dollars. So that's like when you get bucketed, basically. So usually their credit card limits, sometimes they will tell you what your limit are. Sometimes you won't see a limit. It's just you have a preset spending limit, and you can grow that over time, and you don't see what your credit limit is per se. But there's also times where you can get bucketed. It's all, just different based on the different cards. And, I got a card one time, and all of a sudden it said, oh, well, your credit limit's $4,000. It's like, what happened? So sometimes you'll get what's called bucketed, where you'll start off with, no preset spending limit, and you can check your buying power. And then all of a sudden they will bucket you to a 4K limit, and, you just have to basically spend and pay over time for you to get out of that. So that's, another story. But their credit cards, usually are pretty high interest rates. So you definitely don't want to leave a large balance on them for a long period of time. Now, let's talk about their charge cards, because let me tell you guys something. Their charge cards, people tend to misunderstand. A charge card and a credit card are two different ball games. Credit card, revolving, pay over time. You just have to pay the minimum amount due. A charge card is designed for you to charge your monthly expenses and pay it off at the end of the cycle, or, when the bill is due in 30 days. So essentially, it's the same concept as a net 30 account, meaning you have to pay everything that you spent in that billing cycle within 30 days. Some of the charge cards now, well, most of the American Express charge cards now have a pay over time limit, meaning if you charge up $30K, yeah, that's fine. You have a pay over time limit of, say, $14,000. So you would need to pay, whatever's over that. And sometimes they don't let you go that high because of, your credit limit. So every situation is a little bit different. I've seen some very unique situations. I had a client where they got the gold card, and they were using it and paying it and using it and paying it. And then right after the pandemic, when everything kind of hit the fan, not necessarily for their business, but for the economy, that's when you're going to start seeing a lot of the limit slashes and people being bucketed and all this crazy stuff. So he went from having no preset spending limit, buying power pretty high, to a credit limit of 14,000, a pay over time limit of 14,000. And they don't really let them go over that amount either. So it is, now a credit limit of 14,000, which is still decent limit, but the goal is to get, higher over time. And to do that, it's really just by pay. The longer you are, building that relationship with them and showing them that you don't pay late, you at least pay the minimum amount due. It's okay to have a high balance if need be. Hopefully it's not for long, because again, those interest rates are super high and it's just not a good card to leave a balance on. These are great cards for people that like to spend and pay and literally just want to get rewarded for spending cash. That's what American Express is great for. They do have the pay over time option. So if you're in a bind, you can definitely do that. Every card is kind of different. So it's really important. I talk about this a lot. And if you've never watched any of my videos before, please do so, because I talk about understanding the terms for the card. And sometimes if you don't understand the terms, maybe you need to call in to the creditor and go over the terms of this card so you have an understanding of when the bill is going to be due, what the billing statement is, what your pay over time option is. Do you need to pay the balance in full by the due date? Make sure you understand the terms of the card that you got. And we're going to go over some of these things, but again, people get approved for different things. There's always changes happening. So I always recommend to just verify with American Express. They have the best customer service. They are literally going to make sure that you understand exactly what it is that, comes with the terms of the card. And I have had long conversations with reps from American Express, and they do a great job of explaining things. And there's so many different cards that they have now, and cards that they continue to put out. So that's why it's hard to keep up with all of the changes. But in short, charge cards are just like net 30s. Generally, they are built to pay the balance in full by the end of that billing cycle. And if you do pay over time, you're going to be paying high interest rate for it. So let's talk about the personal credit cards. Now, business credit cards do not report to the personal credit. That's the great thing about these business credit cards, is none of these 5 business credit cards that I have report to my personal credit. Now, the Navy Federal one, of course, that one does report because it's a personal credit card. But these 5 business cards, make sure you can't see my credit card, try to steal my American Express account. Just kidding. I love when people come to me for credit repair and they say, "You're not going to steal my identity, are you?" And it's like, what would I get with a 500 credit score anyways? Like, heck no. No. Anyways, so these 5 business cards with American Express do not report to my personal credit. And as we go over these cards, I'll kind of, share my experience with my cards. They all have a pay over time option. So that's great in case, I don't want to pay the full balance by the due date. I've got, some cushion there. And that's what I like, is I like the ability to be flexible. But on the personal credit, they do report to the personal credit. Sometimes, we talked about this, before. Sometimes they do not reflect a credit limit because there's no preset spending limit. So that's why a lot of times when you're looking to buy a trade line and it's from American Express, we don't really recommend that, because you can't see, sometimes you can't see the history, and sometimes you can't see the credit limit. So, unless you're bucketed, and that's basically where American Express says, this is your credit limit. And that could change. Like, you might get a card with them initially that has the credit limit, and then you can graduate. But usually, they'll approve cards and then they'll bucket them based on your spending habits. They have really powerful AI that assesses your spending, basically your spending habits and everything in what you're spending. And sometimes, if they find it too risky, meaning they think that you're like manufacturer spending, or, you're buying things that should not be bought with credit cards, they will bucket you. They will definitely put you at a very low credit limit. So that's why we want to stay away from doing things that might put us in Amex jail, if you will. So the charge cards, personal credit cards, they also have the personal pay over time cards. So, for me, I want to try to get now more credit cards on the business side that are not going to report to my personal credit. So this is a great way for new business owners to have credit cards that are in their business name that they can really leverage these MR points for, literally put all their spend on for their business and get rewarded. Like, I love American Express so much. So let's talk about the business cards. Like, I talked about this, briefly just talked about it because honestly, it's my favorite thing when it comes to business credit cards, is them not reporting to our personal credit. So if we need to leverage our credit and actually use our credit cards, it doesn't affect our personal credit utilization. We can get away with having a larger debt due on the business side because there's a lot of, bills and costs associated with businesses. Not so much on the personal side. Credit utilization is 30% of our personal credit score. And on the business side, it's not going to tank our credit score if we have a high balance due. Of course, it's not always a good thing to have it over long term, especially if you're maxed out on every card that is reported. So, you just want to try to balance it to the best of your ability. But these business credit cards, they do not report to the business credit bureaus unless you are delinquent. So it does not report to Dun & Bradstreet. It does not report to Experian. It does not report to most of the reporting agencies. Now, American Express as a whole, they report to SBFE, but that doesn't mean that they're going to report all of this account data, right? At this time, I haven't seen them report these business cards as trade lines. So, but if you're delinquent, obviously that's gonna hurt you. So that's why you want to stay in good standing with them, pay your bill on time. There is no cushion, 30-day cushion on the business side like there is on the personal side. You need to pay at least the minimum due by the due date and plan accordingly. So these cards, they do not build business credit, but it does hide the credit utilization. So a lot of clients will ask me, like, where are my, American Express business cards? Like, we were not able to find them on anywhere. Now, things are always changing. At the time of this recording, it's like July of 2023, and I have not seen these cards report anywhere, but that can change at any time. So these are great cards to hide your debt, hide high utilization. Of course, it's high interest, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. They are higher limits and better membership reward points structure than the personal side. You'll get a lot better, and you can actually add your, whoever, your employees or different authorized users, and they can get, MR points for those people as well. So that's a great strategy to use, and we'll get into that. So let's talk about the Amex personal checking. And I've had other videos where I talked about American Express, and I may have touched on anything that has the label from American Express is going to get you into their ecosystem. The more positive that you have inside of their ecosystem, and that's why it's so important that when you are applying for things inside of American Express's ecosystem, that you use the same information, same name, same address, same job, same title. You never want to put that you are self-employed. You never want to put that you are a, business owner, because you want to say, if you're a business owner, this is the company that I work for. The name of your business, okay? If you work for ABC Consulting, the name of your employer is ABC Consulting. What is your job title? operations manager, VP of operations, something like that, because you never want to just be the CEO. You never want to be the owner. You want to have a real job title that, looks official, right? Looks like you actually work for a corporation. And at this point, most of us are operations managers. We operate everything in the business. And when we hire someone new, we train them on the operations of that. So a lot of us would fall under that category. So the American Express personal checking account, you can open one. I highly recommend it. If you do have any issues opening up checking accounts with any bank, you need to request a copy of your ChexSystems report. So you can head over to 𝓔𝓑𝓞𝓞𝓚 and request your report and see what's on there. I've had so many clients that have literally just had to clear up some old debts that were just a couple $100, and they were then able to open up bank accounts. Because if you have messed up with banks in the past, that's, it's something that is normal, because a lot of times we get fees and we either might just ignore them or not really recognize them because our account is closed and we're like, forget that, I don't want to pay it. Well, they report to a credit agency. It's not necessarily a credit bureau. Well, I wouldn't say credit, data reporting agency, because all this stuff is data. Credit bureaus are data. Banking systems like ChexSystems, that's data. So a lot of this is just data, right? They report data, the banks being they, report data to ChexSystems and to early warning. So some banks are just going to report to one, some banks will report to both. So if you do have issues, you want to request a copy of your ChexSystems report from ChexSystems.com and request a copy of your early warning report, 𝓕𝓡𝓚𝓞𝓚. I'll leave the links below so you guys can request a copy. But open up a personal checking account with American Express. This will help build up your relationship, because again, all about building, right? Building. Your credit score might not be in the best position right now, but at least if you open up a checking account and they start seeing direct deposit, your spending trends, then you can help get into their ecosystem and you can start getting some, offers, from American Express, which usually are pretty good offers for their introductory offers. Now, let's talk about the modern banking design for members. This is something that I really recommend for people, especially if, say, for example, you're banking with like someone like Chime, right? There's no real like long-term benefit with that bank other than you might get your paycheck a few days early. But in the long run, are they going to be able to give you personal credit cards, business credit cards, lines of credit and things of that nature? Most likely not. If they do, it's like secured. We don't want that. So with American Express checking, there's no fees to open up the account. There's no monthly fees. There's no minimum deposit or balance requirement. And you can expand your membership relationship with them by just simply opening up a bank account. Now, sometimes they have different, bonuses for signing up for different things. So you always want to check and see if you can get some sort of bonus. Now you see right here, it says currently available only to consumer card members who have had a card account for 3 months or longer. American Express business checking customers are not eligible at this time. So that is something I can say is fairly new. So you definitely want to take note of that. So you definitely want to be able to apply when you can and when you're eligible. Okay, now you can earn membership reward points on your debit card purchases. So this is super awesome, because who else out there is giving you rewards for using your debit card? Usually there is no benefit to using our debit card. There's no real protection. There's no reward points. There's nothing. And that's why I always recommend people spending on their credit card versus their debit card. But, we'll get into that. So obviously you can earn MR points using your debit card with them, which is a whole nother way that you can literally just leverage your relationship to earn MR points with American Express. So for every, you can earn 1 MR point for each $2 of the debit card purchases. So, 2 to 1, that's not bad. That's pretty good, especially because I don't see anybody else doing something like this. No other banks. American Express business checking. Now, we just saw what their requirements said, and for the business side, you want to just make sure that you are getting the best sign-on bonus possible. Right here, this is a sign-on bonus that they were offering on their website at the time of this recording. So let's talk about the American Express business checking account. And if you are a small business, I highly recommend signing up for the American Express business checking account if you qualify, and getting that welcome offer that they have out there right now. So let's head over to their website, because honestly, this is the best place that you can find out what the latest and greatest is. So right now with American Express, you can see that they're offering $30,000 membership reward points. And, one way to kind of see if you can get a better welcome offer is to either chat with one of the representatives on their website, call, see if they can provide you with a better one, log into a VPN, view the offer. You can literally click on the welcome bonus information and just kind of click around on their website and take a break, come back, and see if they will offer you a better offer. Because sometimes I have seen that. Now, sometimes, they've been a little stingy lately because last year they were offering a much better welcome offer. But, 30,000 membership reward points is definitely not, bad. That's something that's definitely worth if you can qualify. Now, there are certain qualifications. So you can see here, you can earn 30,000 membership reward points after you achieve an account balance of $5,000 or more from the eligible deposits within 30 days of opening your first account, and maintain an average account balance of $5,000 for the next 60 days, and make 5 or more qualifying transactions within 60 days of opening your account. And you can click on these little info buttons right on their website to see what those qualifying transactions would be. But you hear it right here, you have to achieve all of these different data points in order for you to earn that welcome bonus. Okay, so again, make sure you understand the terms. Sometimes it's not just open up an account and you'll get rewarded. No, open up an account, sometimes it's direct deposit, sometimes you have to do this or that. And I've, made videos about American Express before, but this is different because we're really going into detail. But American Express is great at having their information right here on their website. So if you do have any questions, I highly recommend head over to the American Express website and just check it out yourself, because information is always changing. You can see the frequently asked questions. How do you open this? And looks right here, it even says you will need to provide a EIN, taxpayer identification number, and documentation to prove that you are a registered business. So make sure you have all of your documentation ready to rock and roll. You should have a binder or a folder online that you keep that has all of these documents in it. And if you are going to be going after opening up new accounts, I highly recommend that you get a certificate of good standing from your Secretary of State. You can get that right on the Secretary of State's website. It's usually fairly cheap, $5, $10, something like that. And it just tells them, hey, you're in good standing, okay? And usually they will require a certificate of good standing, okay? So you can literally apply in as little as 10 minutes. You'll need to answer a few basic questions, talking about your industry. Again, no high-risk industries, your revenue, how you plan to use your online business checking account. You'll need to give them, again, your EIN number or your tax identification number, and documentation to prove that you are a registered business. And then you'll be able to link your accounts, make your deposits, and do all of that other great stuff that is included. Make sure you understand the bonus so you can qualify to receive your welcome offer, okay? And the great thing about their business checking is there's no monthly maintenance fees. They have really great customer service, excellent fraud protection. So American Express is a grade A bank in my opinion, and not a lot of other places out there are giving such great welcome bonuses for simply opening up a checking account on either the personal side or the business side, in my opinion. American Express business line of credit. Now, the business line of credit works very similar, and in my opinion, you definitely want to aim for at least a 700 credit score, and your income is going to be projected income. So if your income is going to be based on receiving this line of credit so you can advertise, hire more people, expand your business, then, base it on those projections, because American Express can approve you for a business line of credit for up to $250,000 with a soft pull. And again, it's going to be a soft pull on your personal credit. They use Experian. So you want to have Experian unlocked. You don't want to have any fraud alerts with Experian. So if you've had credit repair in the past, make sure that you have had all of the fraud alerts or consumer statements that are listed on your credit report removed from your credit profile. You can literally just look at your credit report, see if you have a consumer statement. I recommend getting a full credit report from like MyFICO, because that's going to give you all of your credit reports, and you can see if there is some sort of consumer statement on any of your credit reports. Okay, so let's talk about what you would need. Now, you need to be at least 18 years of age or older, have started your business at least a year ago. So I remember I told you guys when I first got declined, I was only in business for about 6 months. And then I went back at that 2-year mark. They're telling you right here, you really only need to be in business for 1 year. Okay. As long as you have a solid credit score, solid business foundation set up, you have a FICO score of at least 640 at the time of application, and that's nothing. Okay, that's nothing. So again, make sure that your credit score is as high as possible, but they're telling you right here, hey, you can apply with as low as a 640 credit score at the time of application, okay? Because they are relationship based. Now, it might be higher interest, and of course, the lower your credit score is, the more you're going to pay for it. So the higher your credit score is, the less risk you are. So of course you'll have better terms, but hey, sometimes we just can't wait. So, do what you got to do that's going to be best fit for you and your business. They want you to have an average monthly revenue of at least $3,000. So they may ask for bank statements. They may ask for minimal documentation. So I would make sure that at least you meet these requirements. Now, of course, all businesses are unique. And in this day and age, a lot of banks are kind of tightening up on their approvals. So you just want to come correctly, okay? You want to make sure that you understand Kabbage funding is now with American Express. And you may have seen in some of my ebooks in the past, I always talk about Kabbage. They're a great place to get your business lines of credit. Now they are actually with American Express. So they approve lower credit scores, and it's a great way to build that relationship with American Express. Quick application. You have, flexible terms, 6-month, 12-month, 18-month terms. Pretty straightforward as far as the business line of credit. And again, you don't need to have a perfect credit score in order to get approved, which is really nice. So let's talk about how to qualify for these different things and some of the data points that I would recommend coming into this thing. So even though the application says 640, what bank is really going to approve you for a business line of credit with a really poor credit score and you've only been in business for 1 year? That's very high risk to them, and they just might not take a risk on that, right? So I would recommend you applying at least at a 720 or anything over a 700. I was approved at like a 710, so of course I've seen it as low as 700, but I've also seen people denied at like a 680, a 690. One client had like a 694 and they were declined. So you want to just make sure that you have, as high of a credit score as possible on Experian personal, okay? You want to have 3 revolving trade lines on your credit report that belong to you, okay? So these are credit cards that are in your name that have a good, solid payment history, hopefully no late payments. And I would, obviously try to add some authorized user accounts just to kind of enhance the credit profile, the credit score overall. You don't want any late payments, no charge-offs. They focus more on this than they do new accounts or inquiries. So you really don't want to have any charge-offs, okay? No negative history with American Express. So if you have bad blood with them, I would clear that up before you try to even come back and ask for another shot, okay? This is not new account sensitive. So you can have a lot of new accounts on your credit profile and this will not affect you as much with American Express. Some banks like PenFed, they're kind of sensitive to that. Chase, very sensitive to that. So you just want to understand American Express is a lot more flexible. However, you should always come to correct with American Express. So let's talk about some of their personal credit cards. American Express personal cards. Now, personally, I don't have a whole lot of American Express personal cards because I want to go heavy on the business side. I like to hide my debt, if you know what I mean. So for those of you that are small business owners, I recommend going heavy on the business side, but they do have a lot of great personal cards for those of you that are not business owners. If you are one of those people that like to travel, they have the Hilton Aspire card, great welcome offers, great way to get free travel. So highly recommended if you are one of those people that are like, hey, when I travel, I want to stay at the Hilton, okay? Now, the American Express green card, they have one on the business side. They also have some on the personal side. This one says business, but they have that green card on the personal side as well. Not personally one of my favorites, but hey, it is an option for those of you out there. Now, American Express Gold, this is personal. They have one on the business side as well. So I am a huge fan of the Gold card. It has a lot of great rewards if you are going to be using it for the categories that those rewards count for. So head over to their website if you are interested in getting this Gold card, and it's a really cool gold metal card. Now this obviously is the business one, but you can kind of hear it. It's a metal card, so when you whip this bad boy out, it's like a status thing, okay? Highly recommend it. Now, for those of you that want more of the travel luxury by having one of their more high-end credit cards, you want to go after the American Express Platinum card. Let me tell you why. You will have access to the Cetarian lounges at all of the major airports. Most airports these days have an American Express Cetarian lounge, and in these Cetarian lounges, let me tell you something, it is nothing short of amazing. The service, the food, the drinks, just everything about it is just simply, luxury, okay? And if you are one of those people that travels a lot and you might be stuck at the airport, hanging out in one of their Cetarian lounges is definitely the way to go. A 5-hour layover is nothing inside of these lounges because you can eat and you can drink and you can have whatever access that they have for you for free because you are simply an American Express Platinum card holder. You can have the Platinum card on the personal side or on the business side. You can even be added as an authorized user and have a Platinum card. Hello. So it is nothing short of amazing. This is what some of the 𝓔𝓪𝓏 lounges look like. And when I tell you they have food, they have drinks, they have ways to, charge your phone, hang out, if you want to just lounge and watch TV, it's a great way to be able to just hang out at the airports in style. So there are other cards that qualify, and we'll get to that in just a little bit. All right, so let's start talking about what cards are going to get you in to some of these lounges. Let's talk about some of the cards that are going to get you access to the 𝓔𝓪𝓏 lounge and some of the other lounges that are in the airport if you're one of those that love to travel. So of course we talked about the Platinum card. That's going to get you access. You also have the Delta SkyMiles Reserve American Express card, also the Delta SkyMiles on the business side. Those are going to get you access. You also get access to the Delta Sky Club, and then on the business side you get the 𝓔𝓪𝓏 lounge and the Escape lounge. On the personal you get the Delta Sky Club and 𝓔𝓪𝓏 lounge. So awesome for those that love to travel. The Delta SkyMiles Platinum American Express, you get access to the Delta SkyMiles, and then we have the Platinum Business American Express. You get a $50 Sky Club access, so you have to pay $50 for the Sky Club access. You've got the Hilton Honors American Express card. You get 10 complimentary Priority Pass select visits per year, and your enrollment is required, so you do have to enroll in that program. Hilton Honors American Express Aspire card, unlimited Priority Pass select membership, enrollment is required, so again, you gotta enroll. And then the Marriott Bonvoy Brilliant American Express card, you get a limited Priority Pass select membership, and enrollment is required. Now you will notice once we get into some of these cards, there are yearly membership fees for some of their cards. If you do not feel that you are going to really use the card for what it's meant for, then maybe that's not the card for you, because there are some hefty annual membership fees associated with the Platinum card, and we will get into that. So there's also the Charles Schwab Platinum card. It's a Platinum card. I really like this card because there are a lot of benefits, especially for those of you that do have accounts with Schwab. So let's move on to the business cards, my favorite part, because again, guys, this does not report to your personal credit, and it's kind of like hidden debt. So it's a great way to grow your business, scale your business, and we're starting off with the gold card, because if you are marketing your business in any sort of fashion, form, ads, YouTube ads, Google ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, any sort of advertisement is going to count towards their category where you are going to get 4 times the points on your spend. So let's just head over to the American Express website where we can go over this together, because some of these cards, a lot of people don't fully understand the benefit. And when it comes to the gold card, you can get points for up to 2 of the eligible categories. And right here, you'll see there is a $295 annual fee for the business gold card, and for the Platinum card, it's $695. So it's a little bit more of a hefty fee, but look at some of the welcome bonuses, $100,000 membership rewards bonus. Now I have my VPN on, it says 70 crossed out, and you can see 100,000, same thing here. So this is a great way, and you can see right here 4 times the points on any 2 select categories where you spend the most amount of money. There is the pay over time option for this card. So you'll notice this card gets 5 times the reward points on mostly like travel, hotel, AMEX travel, things like that. So the business platinum card is great for those that travel a lot. The business gold card is great for those that are still growing your business, you're marketing your business, you're paying for ads and things like subscriptions to your business. So let's just talk about where you can get some of the 4 times rewards points. So you'll notice that you can earn 1 time the points on everything else. There's a lot of different things you can win 4 times the points. See right here, they want you to come in. So if you are making, this is a good point because they're trying to bring me in to see if I need a PG. If you're making over 4 million, over 2 million, then you might not need a personal guarantee with the business side. But if you're making below 4 million, below 2 million, you will need a personal guarantee. So that's kind of, a little bit of game for you guys as well. You'll see that and you'll think, oh, well, maybe I can get no PG. It's like, we got to have something, cash, collateral, or credit. And if you're not making the cash, then you're going to need to have the credit. Okay. So that's the great thing about it. So let's talk about the spending categories. There is no limit for the total number of points that you can get. But as far as the gold card, it's the 2 highest categories where the spend is being made. So let's talk about the rewards for the Amex Gold Card. It says right here, airfares purchased directly from the airlines, U.S. purchases for advertising in select media, so it's online, TV, radio, U.S. purchases made from technology providers of computer hardware, software, and cloud solutions, gas, restaurants, takeout, delivery, so like Uber Eats, all if you spend a lot on that, 4 times the points. And then purchases for shipping. So if you are like a business that does a lot of shipping, like myself, I use a lot of postage. I use this card for my postage. And then I also use this card for my advertising because I'm getting 4 times the points on my spend. And to me, it's worth it. The $295 annual fee is worth it to me because I'm getting so much more back in membership reward points. So that's just a bit of information for you guys so you can, properly decide what card is going to be good for you and your business. You can have, up to 14 different American Express cards. I recommend spreading them throughout different businesses, but associated with your social security number, you can have 14 different cards, up to 14 different cards. And you can have a couple with this business, a couple with that business, a couple with that business, but your social can't be associated more than 14. So let's talk about the best 0% interest credit cards on the business side for American Express. We talked about this briefly before, and I told you guys the American Express Business Plus card and Business Cash card look almost the same. And this right now is the Business Plus card. So if we head on over to American Express's website, we can see here that there is no annual fee for the Business Plus card or the Business Cash card. And you can actually learn more by just going directly to their website. And you can see right here, the American Express Business Plus has a low APR and no annual fee, and they have a 0% introductory rate for the first 12 months. So you are getting 0% on purchases in the first 12 months, valid from the date the account was opened. After that, they're going to be killing you with interest. So, but you got 12 months to, run it up. You can see here a lot of their reward point system. You can earn 2 points on eligible business purchases up to $50K per calendar year. And then you can get 1 point on all other eligible purchases. And, it's a pretty good card if you ask me. A lot of people that get approved for this card are, fairly new business owners that could really leverage this 12-month 0% interest. So that's why, again, I highly recommend American Express, especially if you are a new business owner, and this is a great card with a zero fee for it on an annual basis. A lot of their other cards are going to be associated with an annual fee, but the Business Plus card and the Business Cash card both look the same. They are totally different cards. Those both have a 0 annual fee. Okay, let's talk about some of the travel cards. So for those of you that really travel a lot, obviously, I'm going to recommend the Platinum card, but they also have the Marriott Bonvoy card. They have the Hilton Honors card. They have the Delta Sky Miles card. So those are great for those of you that are going to be traveling, because if you do it the right way and you really leverage your welcome bonus and you make sure that you're optimizing what the card is for, you can get free travel. Like, it is literally the easiest way to get free travel by just using your cash on your credit and paying it, properly. Let's talk about real estate investing cards and some of the cards that I would recommend that you use if you are into rehabbing homes, real estate, things of that nature. They have one, this is really popular for a lot of people that do rehabilitation, is the Lowe's card, and it is by American Express, and it's the 4 Pros card. So you can apply for that card. And of course, the Business Platinum card is great for those of you that are into real estate, and it's also a really great travel card. So I highly recommend that. Yes, it has a hefty little fee associated with it, but if you're using the card properly and you're using it for what it's truly meant for, which is business, right? This is for real business owners. And look at this, you get 150,000 membership reward points when you spend $15,000 on eligible purchases with your card within the first 3 months. And that's huge. Look, 5 times the points on flights and prepaid hotels booked at amextravel.com. You get 1.5 points on all other eligible purchases, and 1.5 points, and then 1 point on other items using your card. And you can they always have different deals. So check this out. Adobe, a lot of people use that. Dell. So they always have different benefits. So just check out, some of the benefits that, would qualify. And of course you get, access to their lounges. So it's just a great program if you are going to be traveling. So highly recommend that. Let's talk about the best cards for those of you that might have some sort of e-com store, or Google, Amazon, Walmart, anything where you're selling things online. I really like the Plum card. And that was actually one of the cards that I selected for myself. I highly recommend it. I have the Plum card here. And I really like the Plum card because you have a bill that's due every 60 days. So you have a lot more flexibility as far as the card goes, because, even though this card, it does have a fee, I like it because you really only have to pay once every 60 days. So you can obviously pay more as you wish, whatever is good for you. But if you are an e-com store, generally when you buy merchandise, you need a bit of time to recoup from that purchase, which is why the Plum card is a great card. So here's the Plum card right here. The Plum card was actually one of the cards that I chose to get, and it does have a $250 annual fee. But look here, this is a great welcome offer. You can get $500 statement credit after you spend $15,000 in purchases with the card in the first 3 months, and you're still going to get early pay discount. You have extra days to pay, so again, it's like every 60 days, which is really nice. And there's no, foreign transaction fees. It's just a great card if you need a little extra time to be able to pay back some of the investments that you made for your business. So right here, it even tells you you've got 60 days to pay without any interest due. Just pay your minimum due by the due date, and you've got 60 days to pay it. There's no preset spending. But again, this is one of those cards that you have to pay that full statement balance by that 60-day period. There is no pay over time option with this card. So you don't want to really use it for something that you can't pay back. Usually econ people, they have a pretty good idea of what they're going to make on their purchases, and at least they'll be able to pay back their investment within 60-day period, because that's what you're going to need to do here. So it's a great way for you guys to be able to buy a little extra inventory and have a little bit more of a cushion for your business. Amazon Business Prime card. So this is another one that's really popular for Amazon folks and people that sell and buy on Amazon, because it's really meant to help your Amazon business. To be honest with you, that hence the name Amazon. Here is the Amazon Business Prime card. There's also the Amazon Business card. So there's two of them. And you'll notice both have a 0% annual fee, which is very nice. The green business card, $95 annual fee. You can see the other fees here. So just pay attention to the annual fee, because there's definitely annual fees associated with a lot of the cards that are on the American Express business side, except for there's zero annual fee on the blue business cash card, the Blue Business Plus credit card, the Amazon Business Prime card, the Amazon Business card. So you might consider, you might get those two confused as the same cards. They're so different. So make sure you understand. The Delta Miles, it's zero annual fee for the introductory year, and then it's $99 after that. So there's no annual fee for the first year, but then it's $99. So make sure you understand that. Delta Sky Miles, that one's got a hefty fee, because that one is for the big spenders. So you just want to pay attention to the annual fee. The Lowe's Business Rewards is also zero annual fee, so that's why I like it. And look, they have a pretty decent welcome offer right now. And again, if you can take advantage of speaking to a representative to see if there's a better option for you as far as the welcome offer goes, I highly recommend it, because these aren't the greatest, but again, they are a 0% annual fee. So of course there's going to be better welcome bonuses with those that are associated with like bigger spenders and cards that you actually have to pay for. Makes sense, right? So let's get back to it. Pretty much it for the business cards. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. You can head over to their website and you can learn more about some of these different cards, but honestly, I kind of went over some of the benefits. Honestly, a lot of these cards are going to be really great for your business, and if you're just starting out, go after these zero annual fee ones, because you can always close them if you're not going to be leveraging them. But I would say, if you're going to get approved for American Express cards, you might as well keep them open, leverage them, build that relationship with them, and just run it up. So I love American Express. You can even do a business line of credit with them, and that kind of brings us to some of the different hacks that I want to cover with you guys when using American Express. Let's talk about some American Express hacks that you definitely want to make sure you're aware of when it comes to joining American Express. So, number one, we're going to be talking about the no inquiry hack. So I mentioned before with my story about how I was able to get 4 of my business credit cards with 1 inquiry, and then I got the 5th one because I actually called in and I spoke with a rep and I applied for another card over the phone. Now, if you apply through the app, they will use the same hard inquiry that you used. So it will use that same one. Now, I have heard from other people that all of the applications they put in through the app at one time counted for the inquiry. Some of my clients have reported that they have gotten another inquiry later on down the road. So sometimes American Express will hard pull you, sometimes they will soft pull you. But when you are applying for multiple business credit cards in the app at the same time, they are just going to use that one hard inquiry through the app. Now, if you call in and speak to a representative over the phone, they might hard pull your credit again. So you don't want to do that unless you absolutely have to. Once you apply for a certain amount of cards, they will want you to call in and obviously verify yourself. So I would just keep on applying until that happens. So that way you can use that same hard inquiry on your Experian personal credit to get approved for all of the different cards that you want to at that time. Hack number 2 is you can get up to 14 different cards using your social security number. So if you have a few American Express business cards under one business, you can get a few more under another business, you can get a few more under another business. You can have up to 14 different cards with American Express. So that is huge. Number 3, the employee card hack. You can actually add employees to your business credit cards and get welcome offers. Now, a lot of the welcome offers, you have to make sure that you follow what it is that they're, saying, hey, you're going to get 30,000 membership reward points, but you have to do this much and spend in this amount of time. Well, you can get welcome offers on employee cards as well. So that is something that you can really take advantage of, especially if you're one of those people that like to manufacture spend, or if you're spending a lot, you can get a bunch of different employee cards and get welcome bonuses on those cards as well. Number 4, you can actually add authorized users to American Express so those people can get into the American Express ecosystem. Now, adding an employee and adding a authorized user are totally different ball games. On the business side, remember, it does not report to the personal credit. On the personal side, you can actually add authorized users to your credit cards, and that account will report onto your child's credit or your friend's credit, whoever you're adding as an authorized user. You can even sell slots if you wanted to. American Express doesn't always report the history or the limits because sometimes cards don't have a limit. But if your card does have history that reports, if your card does have a limit that reports, that will then report to your authorized user's account or credit report as well. So you can add authorized users and help people get credit that way. AMEX get out of jail. Now, I know this might sound simple, but when it comes to being in AMEX jail, you really just want to do the right thing with them, is pay off all of your debts to them and just stop using the card until you guys have come to an agreement that, hey, you understand why you got in trouble, you are out of AMEX jail, you guys are back friends again. And honestly, it's just about doing the right thing next to AMEX. They do not want you to abuse your cards. They do not want you to manufacture spin. And we'll get into, some of the things that we should not do with American Express in just a little bit here. But if you do want to get out of American Express jail, unfortunately, you're going to have to pay everything that you owe them and then kind of just lay off of the card for a little bit until some time passes and you can get back into good standing with them. Now, a lot of people always ask me, what if I've messed up with American Express in the past? Well, American Express is somewhat forgiving if you have settled any old debts that you owe to them. So if you messed up, years ago with American Express and you settled your debts with them and some time has passed and you have shown, some change on your credit report, you don't have any late payments, you don't have any charge-offs or derogatories, there is a high likelihood that American Express will give you what's called a second chance. I would always ask for a second chance with them if you have messed up in the past and you have settled old debts with them, because things happen and sometimes those are outside of our control. And a lot of times you can leverage American Express on the business side if you say, messed up on the personal side before. So I would definitely ask them for another chance. If for some reason you are still declined with American Express, I would call their reconsideration line and actually talk to a live operator where you can explain your situation and ask them if they would be willing to reconsider and do a manual review on your profile, because you have shown that you are a credible consumer. You don't have any derogatories, you don't have any late payments or any signs that would show you to be a high risk. Number 7 is one of my personal favorites. It's the Charles Schwab hack. Now, when you have the Charles Schwab Platinum card, you can actually use your membership reward points and you can get that transferred and deposited into a Charles Schwab account. And a lot of that is simply just not talked about. You can see here right on the Charles Schwab website that the Charles Schwab American Express card is now available to clients who have an eligible account. So if you have a brokerage account with Charles Schwab, you can actually get your MR points deposited into this account. So it is a great way. Here it is, the platinum card with American Express. Now there is an annual fee of $695, but if you're a big spender, it is going to be worth it for you because they have so many different benefits. Not to mention you get access to the 𝓕𝓚 lounges when you travel, but you can also get those MR points deposited into your brokerage account, which to me is like it's a no-brainer. Number 8, if you are part of the military, American Express can potentially waive your annual fee. You will need to actually speak to a representative over the phone, and you might need to verify that you did serve. But some people, I have found that they have been able to avoid paying an annual fee based on them being a service member. So if you have served in the Army, Navy, whomever, if you have served in the military, you definitely want to ask American Express to waive your annual fee, okay? That's a huge bonus that a lot of people do not talk about because some of these fees are very hefty. And if you don't like the answer that the first representative is giving you, always ask to speak with a supervisor. A supervisor is always going to have more authority and more access to be able to provide you with a resolution that you're looking for. And that just goes to show that, sometimes you have to be a little bit more aggressive to get what you want. You have to be consistent, you have to be persistent. And I wear this shirt to say, move at your own pace, but at the same time, you need to be taking action and you need to be taking small strides to get there. And you usually will need to do something every day in order to get you closer to your goals. If your goal is to get a platinum credit card with American Express, you're going to need to have at least a 700 credit score on the personal side, right? Your business should be open for close to 2 years. Your projected income is going to be relative to the credit limit or the spending power that you are going to have. Your projected income should be something that obviously is realistic, But at the same time, you have to understand that, whatever your projected income is, it doesn't necessarily mean that this is income that needs to be verified, because it hasn't happened yet. Sometimes projected income can be off, it can be under, it can be over. So just do what you think is going to be best for your business. If you can project that your business is going to make $250,000, if you can leverage their credit lines to pay and grow your business, or not pay, but pay for ads and help pay for marketing to grow your business to where you need it to be, then hey, that's your projected income. And obviously, if that is a higher income, you're going to get a higher credit limit for the most part. The one thing that you do want to be careful with is over fluffing, right? Because they might ask for tax returns, and we don't want them to ask for tax returns. So we're going to get into 17 things that you never want to do with American Express, guys. And I'm going to say this, if you have not subscribed to the channel, please do so. Give me a huge thumbs up. Let me know if you have enjoyed the video so far, because your engagement with this video actually helps it reach a wider audience. And I, Credit Coach Nicole Scott, am trying to grow my channel and provide you guys with a lot of valuable free information, because I'm going to tell you something. If I would have had this information when I first started, it would have been totally different for me. I mean, I paid thousands and thousands of dollars to join different mentorships and join different people's platforms and communities to learn this information. And, now is a different time. A lot of people don't have money flowing like they did a couple years ago. We're really into somewhat of a recession, and I get that. So that's why you want to be able to be recession proof and have multiple streams of income and leverage your credit to build wealth the right way, right? We want to make sure that you understand spending on your credit card means you're going to need to have a way to pay it back. You got to spend wisely. You have to invest in things that are going to be making you money, not, in things that are, just frivolous. So here are 17 things that you don't want to do with American Express. Number 1, you do not, and I repeat this, you do not want to churn credit cards with American Express. This is also known as manufacturer spending, because American Express has some of the most advanced artificial intelligence that monitors our accounts. They monitor our spending habits. They monitor everything. It's very, very smart. And if they think that you're churning credit cards with American Express just to get membership reward points, they will figure it out pretty darn fast, and you will go to AMEX jail. You do not want to do that, okay? You want to make sure that you do the right thing with American Express. You try to put as much spend on the card as you possibly can organically by buying things for your business, for your life, for your personal life. Pay for your auto insurance, pay for your bills with American Express, pay for everything that you pay for with your debit card. Put all of that spend on American Express. If you buy supplies for your business, put all of that spend onto American Express so you can organically earn the membership rewards that are associated with your welcome bonus. And then you can add additional cards and you can spend on those cards and earn all of these membership rewards organically the right way. So that way you're not going to get in trouble. You're not going to go to AMEX jail. You're not going to lose out on your benefits, because American Express is such an advanced system. You really don't want to play with them. You really don't. Number 2, You do not want to cancel your American Express card until you move the points off of that account. So a lot of people will just join for like their first year or two, and they'll, get what they can out of the card. And then they're like, hey, I'm really not going to use this card anymore, but I've got a bunch of membership reward points. Make sure that you use them. They are complete. Your transaction is completed. Everything is done. And then close the account. So a lot of people will wait until their annual fee is due, and then they'll close the account, right at that time. But you want to make sure that all your membership reward points are completed, moved, or cashed in for that account before it is closed, okay? Number 3, do not put high spend on American Express right away. Again, they used advanced artificial intelligence to track your spending trends, okay? They literally will see, is this normal for this person, okay? You want to build up to it. You don't want to just go all in. You want to just, okay, let me charge this, let me charge that. Work your way up to it between, month 1 and month 6, right? The first month, you might want to add, a couple subscriptions. You might want to pay any utility bills or any sort of, auto subscription. Start putting those on there. Next month, we'll put our auto insurance on there. We'll put, whatever other types of, recurring bills that we have on to our American Express. And then over time, it builds up to it. So you don't just go from 0 to, 10,000 overnight. Now, of course, some businesses spend are going to be much higher. Now, if you told them what your projected income was and you're showing a spend to match that, as long as those trends remain the same, you should not have a problem, because a lot of businesses out there have a lot of expenses. Okay. They have to buy supplies, especially those that are in real estate. They need to buy, a lot of building supplies, very expensive, trucking, gas, fuel, repairs, maintenance. All of these things can go on your cards, especially when you have a welcome bonus and you have to put a certain amount of spend on your card in the first 3 months. So, don't be afraid to, put a lot of spend if you are organically using a lot of spend, right? If your average month you spend 10K on different things for your business, so be it, right? That's what it is. And then it should just go up from there. But don't, if you're not a big spender, don't try to put a bunch of spend on the card first and then, your trends go down. You want to keep your trends kind of elevating or remaining the same. Okay. It's kind of like your lifeline. And that's how AI looks at it. If you're like spiking up and down, it's like something's going on. Let's look into this further. You want to stay below the radar with them. Okay. And this is how you do it. So let's talk about number 4. Do not buy high risk items. Okay. Like jewelry or things from pawn shops or things that would be considered high risk, okay? Don't do it. It's just not worth your relationship with American Express. They don't want risky people. They want people that are doing the right thing, that are following their rules. Don't buy things that are not associated with either, if it's a business card, they can see your transactions. If you're buying a bunch of jewelry, that's not necessarily business. I understand some people buy jewelry for their business, but it's not something that's, common, I would say, for a lot of business owners. So you don't want to buy, jewelry or cars or, things from pawn shops, anything that's considered high risk. Things that are okay, paying any sort of bill that you have, rent payment, if you can pay your rent with using the credit card, great. There's, third-party apps that can assist with that, like Plastique. I'm not sure if they take American Express, but a lot of people use Plastique. Me personally, I'm not paying their fees. So again, understand the terms that come along with it. But There's third party sites that you can use to, pay for average things, or some places actually accept American Express for you to pay your bills, like any sort of subscription. Most companies that take credit cards are going to take American Express, but you definitely don't want to do any sort of down payment for a vehicle using a brand new American Express card. You definitely don't want to buy a lot of jewelry with it, pawn shops, anything that's going to be kind of high risk and questionable to them, where they're going to look into it further. Don't want to do it, okay? Just not worth it. Number 5, do not manufacture spend on these cards unless it's organic spend. Now, we talked about this earlier when we were talking about churning the cards. They have the ability to see what the third parties are spending. So they can see everything on your American Express account. They can literally see everything. Everything is tracked. And again, their security is A1, top notch. AI is on it. Plus they have, teams of people. They have their rat teams. They have teams of people that investigate people. So you just want to make sure that you're doing the right thing by American Express. Understand, whatever you spend, you have to pay back. You don't want to be spending just to get membership reward points. You want to be spending on organic spend. If you run a lot of ads, great. You're going to get rewarded for that. If you buy a lot of supplies, great. Let's do it through American Express so you can get rewarded for that. But you don't want to be, going to stores with your brand new American Express card and running it up just to try to return it to a different card. American Express, a lot of times they can tell, they get information. They are, again, some of the most advanced security and artificial intelligence when it comes to this credit card game. And it's only going to be getting better and better. They literally have people that are testing the system that work for them, okay, and seeing how far they can get without their technology catching them. So they're getting smarter and smarter. It's just crazy. So number 6, don't invoice yourself and then pay it with American Express card. Don't use your American Express card to make a payment to a brand new merchant account. Okay? Don't do it. If you are paying someone, make sure that they have a seasoned merchant account. It's for a valid transaction. This is the fastest way to get your American Express card shut down and to get your merchant account shut down. Okay? Don't do it. Again, I talked about their rat team, and they have very sophisticated algorithms and artificial intelligence and people that are testing the system that work for American Express and that actually investigate and look to see what type of is out there. So, excuse my language, but just don't mess with them, okay? Don't try to invoice yourself, pay the invoice just so you can get money and liquidate the credit card. There are other ways that you can use this card properly, and this card is not meant to liquidate it. It's really not. If you need to liquidate a line of credit, then we need to go after a different credit product. You need a line of credit. You don't need a credit card or a charge card, okay? Number 7, do not screw up your relationship with American Express. They barely give second chances, okay? And if they do give you a second chance, it's because it's been some time, they understand the situation. You went through some sort of tragic life event, but you might have to start off with them as like a secured card. You might need to build up to them forgiving you. If you did mess up your relationship with American Express, you need to pay it back. Unfortunately, not a lot of people like to hear that, but you can also settle with them and do some sort of settlement option. But you don't want to allow that to happen. You don't want to get a bunch of American Express cards, run them up, and not have a way to pay it back. Again, do the right thing, okay? Because when a bunch of people do wrong, it just makes it harder for everyone. And it's not a matter of if you're going to get away with it. It's just a matter of when you're going to get caught. And with American Express, you are going to get caught. It's just a matter of time. Whether it's a couple months, a couple weeks, or, a couple years, eventually you will get caught because they are smarter than us, believe it or not. Okay, their technology is way advanced. And we just don't want to screw up our relationship. We don't want to take chances of, us committing fraud or something that's not right, because it's just not worth it. Okay, guys, it's just not worth it. So do the right thing. Understand that, whatever we spend, we have to pay back. Okay. Number 8, do not pay late. Okay. If you do pay late, you are going to get late fees. They are very expensive. Not to mention, you're going to need to be paying interest. And there's massive charges with all of that. So make sure that you pay your bill on time. Now, keep in mind, a lot of the cards have that pay over time option. So with each card, you just need to look and see what the minimum amount due is, and at least pay the minimum amount due by your due date. Okay, whether it's on the business side or the personal side, both are very important that you pay your bills on time. Now, with the business side, it's not like they report to the personal credit, but you definitely don't want to get late payments with them because, again, it's all about relationship. And on the personal side, of course, you'll have 30 days before they report a late payment, but you don't want that. You don't want that. You just want to make sure you are paying the minimum amount due by the due date. It's very, very important to pay as agreed. Okay, that's one of the number one things that people do, and it's literally the fastest way to tank your credit score is to pay a bill late. I literally just had a client. I was working with him for over a year. We finally got his credit score up past 700 organically. I literally just added trade lines. He was doing great with his credit, and then he got a late payment on an auto loan, and it literally dropped his credit score 70 to 100 points per bureau. And I literally wanted to cry for him because I'm like, no, all this work that we've been doing and you get a late payment, no. And late payments are some of the hardest things to get corrected once they happen. So make sure, no matter what, put a reminder in your phone, but also put your dang bills on auto pay. Okay, there's no reason why your credit bills should not be on automatic payment for the minimum amount due. Okay, and I tell this to people all the time, but please, 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 for the love of God, put your bills on auto pay. Okay, if you are an adult and you have a steady source of income, stop being scary. Okay, put your dang credit bills on auto pay and don't get no more late payments. You can always pay more as the month progresses, but at least this way, if you have your minimum auto pay set up, they're just going to take the minimum amount due, and then you can pay more if you need to. Okay, but just make sure auto pay is set up for the minimum amount due. We are adults. Auto pay is a part of adulting. Okay, be responsible. You can put the date in your calendar as well, but you need to make sure that that bill is paid. Go in, check your account, make sure it processed, make sure nothing happened to where it's not going to go through and then you don't notice it and you get a late payment. Okay, we don't want that. Moving on. Number 9, do not lie on your credit application. You could trigger a manual review. Like I say, and like I've said in this video, you want to make your projections realistic, right? If your projections are based on, hey, if I get this card, I can leverage it and I can add, $10,000 worth of advertising to my budget, which could potentially, bring us to, $250,000 a year or $100,000 a year. It also depends on your area as well. Like if you're a business in San Francisco or Silicon Valley or, most places in California, 250 is normal, right? 500,000 is normal. But if you're in, a state that's, much smaller, Iowa, it's probably unlikely that the average business out there is doing $250,000 a year. You want to just, be truthful on your application. You don't want to overextend yourself because, when you do get credit, it's easy to spend, but sometimes it's not as easy to pay it back. Okay. And, everyone's guilty of that. And we just really need to make sure that we're balancing that out properly. So that way, you are spending what you can pay, right? You don't want to be greedy. In this case, don't lie in your application. Be truthful, give realistic, projections, and be honest, right? We want to do the right thing by American Express. And if you know that you're giving numbers that are just way out of your league and they ask for a manual review, your account could get shut down. And we don't want that, right? We definitely don't want that. So number 10, do not ask for a credit line increase unless you need it, okay? That could also trigger a manual review, right? Say you fluffed up, you fluffed the numbers a bit when you first got in. Now you're asking for a manual review, or you're asking for a credit line increase. That could cause a manual review. And if you don't have proof, you should not be asking for it. Okay. Now, if you feel like you really deserve it and you're prepared to show documentation if they ask, by all means, go for it. But just understand that when you do ask for a credit limit increase or you ask for more, they're going to look into you. They're going to look into your file. They might ask for some sort of supporting documentation. So just be prepared for that. Number 11. Now, if you get a manual review, you need to participate in the manual review. Meaning, if you do not provide them with the documentation that they are requesting, they could potentially close your account, which is not a good thing. You're damaging your relationship. Now, even if you don't have the numbers that were put on your credit application, it's okay. You need to provide them with what you have, okay? And if for some reason you told them, look, the numbers that I put on my application were projected, however, things changed, and, I never was able to update that, but, this is what the numbers actually look like. We're still, projecting these numbers, these correct numbers over the next 12 months, these numbers over the next 24 months. So, just play ball with them, okay? You don't want to just ignore them when you get a manual review because they will win, okay? Number 12, do not pay your bill with MR points. Do not use your points unless you transfer them out. MR points are worth a lot more on American Express's website with travel, or even, you can potentially use them to transfer to Schwab. You just, whatever's going to be best for you. But I would definitely not pay my bill with MR points, and I would use them for travel. I definitely would recommend the travel. You can go to American Express's website and take a look at some of the different options that would be available for you to use your MR points. Number 13, do not sign up for credit cards unless you get the best sign up bonus. Now, I talked about this briefly earlier, but I'm just going to recap. You want to use a VPN. You want to be logged in from a nice area, a more wealthier location, okay? You want to look at things, you want to take a break, and you want to go back to their website. So here's a great example. I literally went to American Express's website and was just looking for their best sign-on bonuses, or welcome bonuses as they call it. And here are some great ways that you can really apply for the cards that are going to be best fit for your needs, your lifestyle, but also get the best welcome bonus that you can possibly get. And you can see here from this Platinum American Express card, yeah, the annual fee is $695, but you can earn 80,000 membership reward points after you spend $6,000 on purchases on your new card in the first 6 months. So that's huge, right? You can also do the American Express Gold card and you get 60,000 membership reward points and you only have to spend $4,000 in the first 6 months. So that's great as well. And look at all these different bonuses. Like, this is just crazy. Like 4 times the points at restaurants, 4 times the points at supermarkets, 3 times the points on travel. And then you got, man, this platinum membership, you get 5 times the points on flights booked directly with airlines or through the American Express travel, which is AMEXtravel.com. So this is just a great way that you guys can see, like, these are some of the major benefits that you're going to get once you sign on for the welcome bonus. Okay. So, and again, you could sign up for multiple cards with them at the same time and get all of those welcome bonuses, because each card is a separate welcome bonus. So you just want to make sure that you're getting the best welcome bonus and that it's going to fit for your lifestyle, and that you're actually going to be able to put the spend that the welcome bonus would require you to do in the time frame. So it's going to tell you right then and there how much you would need to spend and in what time frame you would need to make that spend on. Number 14, do not just cancel cards, okay? Ask for a retention offer. So I know the annual fees are hefty on some of these cards, but before you cancel, you definitely want to reach out to a representative and say, hey, I'm thinking about canceling. I think I want to cancel my card. You know, what can you do for me to keep me on as a card holder? You know, what can you do for me? Can you offer me some sort of, you know, retention offer or discount? I would call it a retention to help keep me as a American Express member, right? Because they can give you offers and they can give you credits and different bonuses to keep you on as a client, right? Sometimes I would recommend that you speak with a supervisor to ensure that they give you the best option available, okay? So let's move on to number 15. Do not forget to enroll for your benefits. Now, we saw some bonuses earlier where you actually had to enroll to receive that bonus. So you want to make sure that you enroll in the benefits that your card actually offers, because there are special offers for different cards, but it requires an enrollment, which is literally just a simple click of buttons, you know, and you can do it on the app. Sometimes you might have to get on a computer if you're having issues, but you want to make sure that you are enrolled for these special programs. Number 16, do not use the wrong American Express card for purchases. Every card is best for something, right? The Amex Gold card is great for advertising. It's great for, you know, business subscriptions and purchases and restaurants. And the Platinum card is great for travel. Let's just be honest, right? You've got the 𝓕𝓨 lounge access. You've got 5 times the points on travel. So you just got to figure out what card's going to be best for you so you can maximize the amount of membership reward points that you are actually getting and the perks for each card in it that it's actually designed for. Number 17, do not get a business credit card first. Get a personal American Express card first, and you can sometimes use the same inquiry for the business side. So as I explained with my personal journey, I was actually able to get the American Express card with Navy Federal, which helped me get into the American Express ecosystem. Once I got approved on the business side, I was able to get 5 business credit cards. I did get my personal credit ran 2 times. I was able to get 4 cards directly from the app by applying back to back. And then when I called in a few days later, I was speaking to a phone rep and I had them apply for the gold card over the phone. That costed me another hard inquiry. But that's okay. Again, I'm not worried about it because it's totally worth it. And if you really wanted to, you could potentially dispute it on your personal credit because these are business cards that do not report to your personal credit. So again, guys, the goal is just to be able to leverage your credit to build wealth, leverage your credit to be able to get rewarded for the money that you're spending versus just using a bunch of cash to do so. My Navy Federal experience. So I've talked about this a bit throughout this video, and I'm just going to share with you one more brief time. When I joined Navy Federal, they had an American Express card on the personal side. Now, keep in mind, my Experian credit score has always been the issue for me. And since my TransUnion credit score was always so much higher, I went through Navy Federal to get into American Express because they pulled from TransUnion. So it was an easy way for me to get a personal American Express card. And I'll show you guys what this card looks like. But basically, this card through Navy Federal helped open up the doors for me to get 5 business credit cards. And I'm not even done. I can get up to 14. But I'm taking my time. I've got these 5. I'm just letting them marinate, paying, spending, paying, spending. I never have been late on any of my bills. So it's important that you make sure that you pay everything on time because again, we can get up to 14 different American Express credit cards using our social security number. Whether that's with different businesses or the same business, I recommend spreading it out throughout different businesses. So that way you can get a couple for this LLC, maybe some for this corporation, whatever the case may be. But my experience with Navy Federal was I got into the ecosystem with this card. And the proof is in the pudding because even on my American Express cards, it says the date joined was 2021. And that's the exact time that I joined Navy Federal's American Express card. So that was how I got in on the personal side, and then waited about a year or so and got in on the business side. And keep in mind, I did get declined before I got approved. And that was because my business was a fairly newer business. So when I applied, my business was about 6 months old. I got denied. I waited until I was about 2 years old as a business, and then I applied. The general rule of thumb, most businesses do like to do business with you once you've been established for 2 years. That just makes them feel more comfortable. Even though you are still considered a newer business, it does make them feel a little bit more comfortable. So that's why I always say in my videos, even though you're not ready to start your business right now, you're not ready to conduct business, start your business and put it on ice. What do you guys think a shelf corporation is? All that it is someone who has started an LLC or a corporation and has literally just put it on a shelf to age, put it on ice to age. And then they sell it to people for thousands of dollars. Why? Because it has age to it. It doesn't have any business credit. It doesn't have any business transactions. All that it has in age. And a lot of times that age is worth a lot more than you might think. So start your business, put it on ice, keep it in good standing, make sure to file your annual report with the Secretary of State, so on and so forth. So that was my experience and how I got into American Express and actually used TransUnion to initially get me in, and then I used Experian once on the business side, once my Experian credit score went up much higher. Now let's talk about my current cards. I may have covered this a little bit before in the video, But if you are still with me, thank you so much. I highly appreciate it. I need you to do me a favor. I need you to like the video, comment, and subscribe. Okay, we're almost done with this masterclass, and if you have stuck around this long, I greatly appreciate you. But a lot of this information is, it's just overwhelming. A lot of this information is just like, oh my God, there's just so much information out there. But I'm telling you guys, if you spend the time to watch my videos and truly learn, sometimes it might not make sense when you first listen to it. You have to listen again, and you have to keep watching, and eventually you'll have that aha moment where you're like, oh my gosh, I get it. And if you haven't listened to the Credit Concept podcast, make sure that you head over to the description below, and you can visit the link where you can watch my entire Credit Concept podcast. And I also have a masterclass on Navy Federal, the personal side and the business side. And I've left links below for all of those videos so you can check them out, because they are definitely, some major games. So I've got the business gold card here, and this is my favorite card for advertising, for subscriptions. I pay a lot of my business, utilities, like I have a CRM, I have different subscriptions for internet-based companies, and I put all of that spend on my gold card along with all of my ad spend. So it's a great way if you're spending on marketing and different business expenses. Gold card is definitely going to be one of those that's important. Now, I also got the Plum card, and the Plum card I really like because, again, you have that 60-day window before you have to make your payment of the statement balance. So I really like that because you get additional time to pay. Now, the American Express Business Plus card, this is a great card because, again, this one has no annual fee. The gold card is a $2.95 fee, and then the Plum card, that one also has a fee. We went over the fees earlier, but the Business Plus card does not have a fee. So it's great for those that don't want to pay a fee, that are just getting started and don't really have the budget to pay a fee quite yet. It's great to get your foot in the door. And again, they have that 0% interest for 12 months. I was actually able to take advantage of that when I first signed up as well. They also have the Business Blue Cash card. The cards pretty much look the same. I mean, sheesh. I mean, they really look almost the same, but they are two totally different cards. Neither one of them have an annual fee, and that's why I got both of those, because it's just two more credit cards that I can add to my collection, and neither one have a big fee. Now, there's also the green card. This is on the business side. This card has an annual fee as well. Honestly, this card, I'm not a huge fan of it. It's probably my least favorite card, and eventually I'm probably gonna, trade that one in for something a little bit better, to be honest. But I recommend the gold card, the platinum card, the plum card, and then, all the other cards that we went over, based on, what type of business you have and what you'll be able to leverage it for. Some of the travel cards with Hilton, those are great as well. The Lowe's card, again, great cards. And then, of course, the Navy Federal American Express card as well. So I have 6 American Express cards in total, even though the American Express card with Navy Federal is not necessarily like an American Express card. It's more or less co-branded with Navy Federal, but it did get me into American Express's ecosystem. So that's why I was able to build that relationship with them on the personal side, and then obviously leverage that on the business side. So here are some things to keep in mind when it comes to American Express. They can offer some massive credit lines with American Express, which is why I love them, because Again, there's no preset spending limit. You can check your buying power, but you don't want to do that too often because it can trigger a manual review. But you will get papers in the mail with your new card. You want to make sure that you read all of that information, because sometimes cards will come with a pay over time limit, and you want to know what your pay over time limit is, and it will say in the paperwork that you receive with the card. Now, they have so many different algorithms, and they can literally tell what your credit lines should be based on their algorithms. So you want to just be careful when you are using American Express, because again, their AI is just top notch and you don't want to mess up with them. Now, American Express and Chase have some of the best travel points out there. You can book travel directly with Amex Travel, and you can also book travel directly with their preferred airline companies, so you can maximize your membership reward points. Do not mess up with American Express. Do not spend what you cannot pay back. Do not do the wrong thing. Understand that, yeah, these are great cards, but at the end of the day, you still need to pay this debt back. You still need to make sure that you are doing the right thing by them. Now, when you do go after funding with American Express, you can get really high limits. And that's why I really like American Express, because even their business line of credit that we went over briefly, that used to be, the 𝐀𝐏𝐏𝐿 line of credit, that is geared towards people that have a lower credit score, right? And it's great because on the business side, they know that a lot of businesses need bigger limits. They make more money, but the business owner might not have the best credit. So that's why I really like American Express, is because a lot of people that I even talk to, they're like, oh, I've never even thought to apply with American Express business line of credit. And honestly, it's more than worth looking into, and it's very easy to go here. So here's a great kind of, tip as well, is when you are on their website and you're like, hey, do you want to continue my session? Let's see if the bonuses have changed, because I have done this before and I've gotten a better offer because I took too long to accept it. And they're like, hey, are you still there? What about a better offer? So I would just take your time and just check the best offers, right? You can view the cards that you can pre-qualify for right here. And there's no impact to your credit score. So you can actually go onto their website or their app and you can pre-qualify for different offers and see if you can get approved for something. But as far as the business line of credit, let's talk about that for just a second. So here's the business line of credit right now. They have a bonus offer, but it's going to be ending August 31st. And you can get a $250 American Express business line of credit. Looks like it's a credit. So you can apply that towards your account. So let's see here. You have to be at least 18 years old. Oh, they've changed it. See, so look, here's the updated one. And things are always changing, but have started your business at least a year ago. Have a FICO score of at least 660 at the time of application. Now, keep in mind, it says right here, there's a little asterisk. The required FICO score may be higher based on your relationship with American Express, your credit history, and other factors. So that's why I tell you guys, have a better credit score. Don't go into this with a bunch of collections, negatives. Like I said, when I got approved, I literally had one medical collection on my credit and I had a perfect payment history. So you just want to be mindful of when you are applying, make sure that you've optimized your credit profile. If you don't know how to do so, book a call and we can go over it. I provide coaching and mentoring to people so we can walk through it together, so you're not going into this blind and you are having the guidance that you need. It's also saying that you need to have an average monthly revenue of at least $3,000. So really the only things that have been changed from the last time that we looked at this till now is the credit score. It was listed at a 640. Now it's listed at a 660. So you just want to be mindful. Things are always changing, but you can definitely apply for the business line of credit with American Express. You would need to, you can even click on their website to see if you're pre-approved. So that's a great way to see if, hey, is this going to be something that, you know, I'm going to be approved for without it being a hard inquiry onto your credit. Now you would need to log in, but for the most part, you guys get the drift here. But this is the 𝐏𝐏𝐿. It was 𝐏𝐏𝐿, but now it's American Express. So you can check out more of the business line of credit right there on their website. It is highly recommended if you are looking for a business line of credit. And again, they took over 𝐏𝐏𝐿, so now American Express does the processing for the old 𝐏𝐏𝐿 accounts. Well, I guess you could say 𝐏𝐏𝐿 is really, it was acquired by American Express. I guess that's the best way to put it. Whatever. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, my name is Credit Coach Nicole Scott. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please make sure that you have done so. Hit that like button. Make sure that you have left me a comment and let me know your experience with American Express, because the more data that we can have, the better equipped we are. Now, this data is always changing. Requirements are always changing. Bonus and welcome offers are always changing. So always make sure that you visit the American Express website to view the latest and greatest welcome offers and different bonuses that they are offering you to become a member of American Express. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching, and make sure that you have watched the Navy Federal Masterclass coming up next. Take care.